Cars came with a 383 cubic inch V8 and a 4-speed transmission standard, and they were marketed as mid-size cars that were short on price but long on performance. However, in mid-1969, Plymouth offered a much hotter version of the Road Runner, featuring a hopped-up 440 cube V8 and half a speed shop full of go-fast parts installed from the factory, and called it the A12 package. The result is the car you see here, one of the 1,432 A12s built in 1969. Now this is what a muscle car is all about. You start with a mid-size family sedan, gut all the fancy stuff, drop in a high-strung 440 cubic inch V8, top it with 3 2-barrel carburetors, hook it to a 4-speed manual transmission, give it some short gears so it gets out of the hole real good, and then paint it a bright color and hang on. This thing also has a special lift-off fiberglass hood to give it better airflow. The only downside about that hood is it never had hood hinges, so you actually need to have a friend come along if you want to check the oil. Road Runners were never intended to be fully loaded luxury rides. These were sold to cost-conscious buyers who wanted to go fast but didn't really care about power windows or air conditioning. Of course, Plymouth built the fancier GTX for those buyers. The Road Runner A12 was factory upfitted with the kinds of parts that a weekend drag racer would buy. The most obvious element of the A12 is the blacked-out lift-off fiberglass hood with the giant functional hood scoop. This lightweight, non-hinged hood required pins on all 4 corners to keep it down. And the idea was pretty simple. Hood hinges added weight, fiberglass was light, a big scoop fed the hungry 440 fresh air, and it all added up to a faster car. The 440 was warmed over as well. They named the 3-Holly 2-barrel carbs the 6-barrel system, and they sat on a special Edelbrock aluminum intake manifold. The heads featured big valves with polished stems, pushed through high-rate springs by a high-lift camshaft, and they combined with the pistons to produce a 10.5-to-1 compression ratio. The stout bottom end and big displacement churned out 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, which were easily in the mighty 426 Hemi's neighborhood. In fact, the NHRA rated the 440 A12 at 410 horsepower, so it's easy to see why these cars ran as hard as they did. Behind the 440 is an A833 4-speed manual transmission in our car, but you could get an automatic, and the rear axle is a Dana 60 unit loaded with 4 10-to-1 rear gears straight from the factory. The rubber meets the road through basic black 15-inch steel heavy-duty wheels, and the A12s rolled on factory-installed redline tires, or red streak wide boots as they were called in the ads back in '69. No fancy hubcaps or shiny wheels for this monster, and we dig the red lines and black wheels on this code 97 Rally Green A12 from the Brothers collection, even if the tires on this car aren't the factory originals. Inside, the A12 is about as basic as it gets. It's truly a purpose-built street fighter with nothing extra to add weight and slow it down. It's got a bench seat, a floor shifter, the tachometer, and an AM/FM radio. The result was the ability to click off mid-13-second quarter-mile times in a car that won the Motor Trend Car of the Year award. Cars like these have lots of stories.